Hello everyone and welcome to today's PUBG analysis. I'm Toby and we are at the second of 3 days, the second playday of PGS Berlin European Qualifiers, or I guess it's just PGS Qualifiers. So yeah, yesterday you can go, if you didn't watch the games, I strongly recommend you to go rewatch them over at twitch.tv/playbattlegrounds. That's the link. I'll put that in the description below as well. And then if you didn't watch yesterday's analysis, you can always also go do that. It is uploaded to YouTube already. But having said that, let's hop straight into it. It's the same map circulation as yesterday, I believe. So it's 2 Miramars, 1 Sanhok, followed by 3 Erangel. So 6 games in one day. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Let's hop straight into it, and hello to everyone joining in on Twitch as well. If you want to watch, of course, live on Twitch, we are doing these broadcasts on my Twitch channel, which is also in the description below. So go watch. Game number 1 of day number 2. Plane probably as fair as can be. I mean, when you have a plane like Whips, when you have a plane that goes like this, then unless if you're a hard committed Valle del Mar team, you should be good. I mean, you can always go these ways, you can always fly up this way, you can always land early, go up this way. You should be good pretty much no matter where you go. So very good plane for the better part of everyone, I would say. Everyone can go pretty much where they want. Eastern Circle, interesting. Do we get the islands? I feel like if there had been an island ending yesterday, I would have known about it. As I said, coming into the broadcast here, I didn't watch yesterday's games. I actually don't really know anything. I've seen some of the leaderboard standings, so I know who had a good day and who had a bad day, but I didn't sit down and watch the games. So so things could go in many different ways in terms of that. So, but I feel like if there had been an island ending, I would probably have heard about it. I wouldn't have been able to avoid hearing about that. But circle pups and things to talk about in terms of rotations out towards the east, of course, is teams. If you like, I tend to draw up these lines, and somebody likes them, somebody don't. Or some people like them, some people don't really. In terms of rotations, I wouldn't expect to see a lot of people go in over here, obviously not going through the crater either. So as you can see, you're already now kind of limited in your rotation paths, because the green markers are where I'd expect people to go through. Obviously, this is a pretty easy rotation path. No one's going to be driving straight through. That's aha. And then up to here. And then down here as well is pretty straightforward rotating. So let's just speed this up and see how this goes. According to me expecting the players to go through the green areas and not the red areas. Let's see. This doesn't count, because obviously, I mean, that actually true goes out around. Through there, through there, through there, through there, over, through. So everyone went through as we expected, and no one's hard committed to expecting the island circle either. I'm a little disappointed. I thought there was going to be a team already sitting out here, but no. That doesn't happen very often. Let's see. New circle is going to pop. Let's zoom in a little bit more. New circle is going to pop. Are we going islands? Oh, had I seen this live yesterday, I would have been clapping my hands. Like, I would have been so hyped, hoping that that it was gonna go out there. But one of the things we can talk about right off the bat is, like, let's try and draw up this circle. Just approximately, right? And then remove everyone. Okay, so this is the playable area that we have inside the circle. Of course, there's a ton of water, which means that playable area really is shrunk down to this in phase 2. And now what do we have within this area? There's a massive field over here, which we can, we'll make that a wide lined up. We'll make this from there, down there, up. Let's go around this. Here. Up there. Within this area, you have here you can play, here you can play, there. And there are more small areas, but you don't really want to hard commit into those early on. Then we have a mountain ridge you cannot play. We have a mountain that you can play, but I probably wouldn't expect to see anyone there phase 2. mountain top that you kind of can play as well, but we'll see if anyone goes up there. And then you have the city. So you can see already now, there's a lot of terrain in this circle that is, it's not unplayable. Like, it's not, it kind of is, but there's a lot of terrain within all this white that you don't want to be in. Like, you don't want to be sitting down here in phase 2 and hoping that something's going to go your way. You can play the right bounce. That is true. You can actually stay down here. You can wrap around here. You can play this part, and you can play the hole down here and down here. Can you play this? Is that what you're saying, Fuzz? Can you play this mountain? Oh, wait, you can. You can get up on this side. You can play down here. But you cannot play this ping. I think that's how it is, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's see, that's, okay. The reason I wanted to do this is just to try and tell you guys that not only is half the circle water, but you also have a lot of areas that, despite it being, oh, but there's so much space in the circle, there really isn't, because there's only so many places that you can be. But you're all right. You can play this part of it, but not up there. Thank you. So let's continue forward and see how somehow 61 players actually managed to make their way into this. That's pretty impressive. So we have 1.5 team committed Impala already. Not really committed because these guys are playing, like, Entropy are playing the west side of it with a chance to bail out that direction. And Adepts are playing, as we talked about, the north side ridge line, where they can either back off down in this way or try to go other ways. Unique, they've taken control of the hilltop. Ray Church are playing south alongside a team that I don't want to try and pronounce. We'll call them Game Stars, I guess. Ents are playing the Ents compound, makes perfect sense. WTSG are two-way splitting. So they've managed to make this work pretty well. New circle, still ton of water. And we've shifted out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. So we have 9 teams in and 7 teams who have to make a play somewhere. Now we know the circle is going to go away from the water next shift, which makes sense. But even then, I mean, it's a pretty straight line down here. So you don't know if it's going to, like, try and sit up here or sit center or sit further down south. You can't really bank on anything. And also you have the whole, oh, but it's going to shift away from, like, some of these hillside areas too. Only issue being that I think no matter where you place, the next circle, there's either going to be water in or there's going to be hillside in. I know it prioritizes shifting away from water before it prioritizes shifting away from mountains. But like, no matter where you put this next circle, even if it's on land, it's still going to contain some of that hill area that you can't get to type stuff. So it can really go anywhere. So what are you going to bank on here? If you're a team that's outside, if you're Liquid, are you going to try and continue wrapping in on the ridge line, like up here? Are you trying to maneuver underneath, get inside the circle? If you're Blaze, do you just crash to the dips underneath the rock and hope that the next circle shifts south towards you? Do I have a sister called... No, I don't. That's an interesting question. YMCA, what do? Do they go in and play the ridge line knowing that there's a team up here that could potentially spot them? There's not really that much to do, and I feel like whatever you do in this rotation now, if you're not in yet, that's gonna determine a lot for your end game. Like, if you're YMCA and you crash into Impala now, like, not just on the edge, but you actually go in, then rotating if the next circle shifts north is gonna be extremely difficult. So the wise thing there would probably be to just position yourself on the south side, like we see both Racer Edge and Rex are trying to do. Let's slow it down a little bit. Northern side is pretty well contested by multiple teams. Again, hard to play here. Like, it's really hard to play downhill in this area because it is really downhill in that direction, and all the teams down here will have eyes in your direction. So they're all trying to wrap north around, contest the one, not only, but one of few areas that are actually playable. Let's see. New circle pops, goes north, shifts away, I guess, from the south side rock. Contains the top side one though. Contains as little water, I guess, as it could. I don't know. It's probably one of the only places that it could have gone, to be fair. WGSG read that one, or guessed, and they guessed right. Sitting well in it now. And now we go from an area where there was very little to play from to an area now where there's practically nothing to play from. Because as long as we still have some of these compounds in play, this whole area becomes a suicide area. Like, you have all your ridge lines that you can play are I always mess it up. Vertical, not horizontal. They're all vertical, right? So you have all these ridge lines that go that if I sit over here, I might not be able to see the guy who's sitting over here because it's blocked. But if I sit here, all the guys that are in this area can see me. And if I sit here, all the guys that are in this area can see me. You know, so as long as all these areas are in down here, it becomes pretty tricky to play this up on the northern side. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Which is why we see a lot of players still committed to that northern side, waiting to try and say, okay, maybe if we're at least the only team, we can do something from up here. Because right now, there's just way too many players up on the north for anyone to dare push further down. When do the qualifiers start? In, I guess, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And still, we also have all the teams that crashed into Impala. Unique, obviously, they have a chance to wrap around. Rex trying to make their way out as well. Entropy and Blaze. Blaze are a little split right now, but they're playing the field, so they should be able to try and wrap around. Ents, I don't know actually. I would expect to see Ents stick around. To me, like they'll push in with the circle, I would think. They're gonna stay to try and make sure that no one's gonna wrap around behind them. Because if they go in now and they're trying to focus a team from here and another team is coming in behind them as well, then they're gonna be in trouble. So I would assume that they're gonna stick around like on the edge somewhere and wait for a potential team to push in with them. Maybe send one guy in to get a circle spot. Entropy, they get themselves a circle just in the edge, or a spot on the edge of the circle. Unique and Rex, you can see this is exactly why Rex pushed early. Rex, they go, okay, this circle pops. If these guys manage to get down here before we do, then we're fucked. We need to get the spot before them so that we can hold off whenever they try to push in. So they run up as fast as they can on foot. 2 players, Misa and Jupsik, the former Sauna Boys team. Well, I guess it's the same team, but just under another name now. Hold off strong, gets 2 of them. They know now for a fact there are more players down here still, so they stick around for a little while longer. Colder runs up, goes down as well. Rex now no, great, we have no one to worry about on the backside. We are now safe, we can play this without any fear. New circle, can go anywhere. Where does it go? Back down towards the construction area. This is an area that we actually don't get to see too often, I feel like. I think this is one of the more fun areas on Miramar that we don't really ever get to see. It's the same layout type as the like this area down here. It's, I don't know, it's kind of unique in a way. You don't get to see it a lot of different places. This could be fun for like a TDM area, I feel like. Maybe not 8v8, but like 4v4. This could be pretty fun. TDM map. Anyway, the circle is going to force all the people on the hillside down, so Northern Lights have a tough rotation to make. Either they're going to have to breach into something, or they're going to try and wrap around to the east and then maybe try and push in on foot, but they know that the compound is still in, and this hillside is going to have eyes on them, because as Vostve said before as well, you can play this. You cannot play this, so you don't have to fear anyone really up here looking in this direction, but you do, I think you can actually, because we saw that in the scrim game with FaZe and it was Sauna Boys, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Diggory, where the one where K-Mind wrapped around and got a bunch of kills. I feel like that was here. So you can actually, if you get up here on the mountain, you can, I feel like there's a footpath where you can push around and maybe get to around here. Like you can run around that way, and then you can get vision up in this direction. But you cannot really, like, you cannot just run around up here as you please. That's what I was trying to say with it. So excited to see what Northern Lights will do from this position. Are they going to try and slow push down, trying to wrap? I think the play to make here is either wrap east or just hard crash into WTSG. But that's also kind of suicidal, because I don't even know if they still have their vehicles anymore. Exalt, they're pushing in on the edge. Slow push down seems like that's the play to make. Take out one, play it safe on the northern side. Use whatever cover you have left, and then comes the crash. Nope. Do they have 3 bikes? That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice in this situation, I guess. Also cannot really, because they don't have any cover, but they're gonna stay on that little corner. This is a horrible circle when you, in terms of like where people are forced to play. Circle shifts away from the mountain once more, kind of. Goes up towards WTSG, and that's a nice shift for Liquid. This becomes, like, there's a line here where, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, you cannot really see Like it goes uphill here, and then it goes kind of flat, and then it goes downhill on the other side. So if you're on this side here, this becomes like the, not a wall, but like the high point. So you cannot really see over here, which means that if you're down here, you're in a hole, and over here, you're in a hole as well. So I feel like this will be a fight happening here without them doing anything. So ENCE, Liquid, and WTSG will all just chill for the next while alongside Northern Lights, I guess, while all this is going on. There was the breach. It was going to happen eventually. Didn't really work, but Batslin does manage to stay alive. This fight has to come to an end. ENCE. Ooh, Liquid push out. That's an interesting play. So, Ruston. Okay. James gets a knock onto Squeaky. Then comes Sikora, gets one more knock. So now they're 3 down, and Liquid go, well, that's our chance to make a play, because if the next one shifts away from their compound, they're fucked, right? Because they have 2 compounds, they can just sit and lock them down. So instead they go, there are 3 knocks and ENCE, we gotta make a play right now. So they push aggressively. This is something that a lot of other teams wouldn't do, and that gives them a whole hell of a lot more space. So Liquid now in a position where they can spread out and take some control. Look at this. How much control they all of a sudden sitting with. Sakura, Sampler, I mean, finds 1, goes down in the end. Liquid now has half the circle because they dared. It's not so much a push for kills. It's more a push for, if we don't do this now, then we were fucked next circle. Like, because no matter where the next, I mean, okay, so unless if they get really, really lucky, here it still keeps them in. But had ENCE been alive and ENCE had played here, then they would have been completely contained inside the compound and most likely killed. So once they get the first knock themselves, here comes, like, they get 2 actually. I think Teams gets 2. Both Squeak and Ruston and Masakura finds the 3rd, and they aggress on it. Smart play. Other teams wouldn't have done that, especially not on like a day 1 of a tournament. So smart play by Liquid to go aggressive there and secure more space. They do lose Teams to the Snake, and now they can start taking control. So they can now try and kind of contain these 2 teams as best as possible. And even like the best for them would be if they can force them to fight each other, then they're even better off. Bart pushes in. Ubika Buster does the same. Rekran tries to hold from behind. And we're going over this first game a little quicker than what I normally would, but I'll explain to you why in just a moment. Picture perfect. Really smart play, to be fair, all the way through from Liquid in that one. They don't hear the rotation. They hear the rotation north around. They go up to try and hold off Northern Lights. Make sure that even if they don't get the kills, that they'll make sure they're going, like, they'll continue to wrap the other way, which forces the cluster over here. They push down, they get the compound for free because WTSG left it. Do a lot of damage, gets to push down the hill, get the compound. Smart play. But the reason we didn't go too much in depth with all the shenanigans down here, all the shenanigans, all the fighting down here, is because from this view, like that's again, we talked about it yesterday too. From a map view, it's limited what you can really do in terms of analyzing fights. And I haven't gotten a response from Styler yet in terms of whether I'm allowed to use all the footage. So I can't really go too much in depth with the actual fighting. What I really hope is that someday they'll make it just like in Counter-Strike, so that I can just go into the replay thingy and update that, and then I can fly around in the games myself, because then we can start looking at the fights and who was holding what angles and all that stuff. But it's a little difficult to do off of a map stream like this. So I hope you guys can respect that. All right, playing Western. There's a lot of Eastern teams in this lobby. Won't be able to go to their usual spots. So this is what happens when FaZe aren't here. Everyone goes, "Oh, Monster Nuevo is free!" YMCA Adepts, they're down there. Former Sauna boys looting up in El Pozo. Team Unique chilling on the west side. Circle goes south. Okay, that's interesting. It could potentially change up things a little bit. So a lot of teams banked up, like, decided to hop north. A lot of teams decided to hop up north. And how do you play this one? We know the center is a little tricky to play. I would assume Liquid to do some kind of split within this. Raise Your Edge are here now, so there is a Chumacero team that wasn't yesterday. They have all the control in the world. It's just a question of what they decide to play from. I would assume that they commit Church. Like two-way splitting this early. Maybe like 2-1-1 splitting this would make sense. Ends, they have all the control down south. Don't really need to worry about anything because it was a plane for Navi to jump La Copraria, so they don't really have any contesting down here in face end here either. So plenty of space. Blaze as well, plenty of control down towards Los Leones. Inside games are not here, so no big issue there. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. How people will rotate. I would assume I would expect to see some of these rotations. I don't think, since we don't have a dedicated Hacienda team in this group, I wouldn't expect a lot of people to use this road. This obviously is gonna be a lot of rotations coming through. And a team like Unique could be the ones that wrap all the way south around. I literally go like this. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Blaze playing West Side Leonis makes sense. Liquid, they're pushing forward a little later than what I thought they normally would. And there's nothing to take. That's what I was thinking. They're a little later than what they normally would. Raise Your Edge doing the 2-2 split. As expected. They do get their... They get a three-way split on the northern side. Blaze, I like this Blaze split, actually. This is a pretty nice 1-1-2 split from Blaze. A lot of vision, a lot of control from where they're sitting to. And Unique do go south. Huh, there you go. They do go south. The reason I think it's fun is because I actually haven't seen the games. I haven't been through it, so it's always fun when I think teams might do something and they end up doing it. Hey, Bisa. Gook. I don't know what Gook means, but hello. Circle goes north again. Okay, this is where it becomes tricky for the teams who are not inside the circle yet, because I mean, it's also kind of tricky for the teams that are. And you can see Mexi immediately goes, okay, guys, this 2-1-1 split was fun, but we're not going to sit this far apart any longer. There's a big ridge line here, which means that if Mexi gets crashed, James and Ibiza can't do anything to help. If Kmart gets crashed, they still, I don't think... No, they can barely even see the compound from there, so they cannot really do anything to help either. And Mexi, as a solo, can't do a whole lot, because if he starts shooting, then other people could be crashing him as well, and that's them losing 2 players early. So Liquid decide to fall back. Makes perfect sense. Blaze doing the same thing. They're going, okay, circle shifted north. We know what that means. A lot of players will be coming in from the south. So Lipson goes up to Apocalypse. Do they? I would, if they read this one right, they would maybe send Lipson up, Apocalypse over, 1 across. That could be a play to make. Let's see. Yeah, I think Lipson went up to try and scout it, but WCG were already there, so he goes back. I like the play. Smart play. They read that Mexi left. Oh, they hear the bike. It's a Murado, so it makes a lot of noise. They hear the bike leaving, or the car leaving, and say go for it. But so did WCG. The 3-buggy squad, 4 buggies. WCG has 4 buggies in this game. That's a little interesting. How many hours? You guys know it. You can do all the explaining. That is now a word for me. Navi, plenty of space on the northern side. Ooh, Raise Your Edge gets kicked back by Adepts. They continue up the hill. Furix is there looking, getting a shot in on Coldamenta. They go nope, and they leave immediately. Raise Your Edge playing Church. We've seen that a billion times before. Ends commits to south. Unique is down there as well. Still some splits here and there. Oh, that's a 4-man split, a 4-way split. It makes sense when they're this far east and they know there's no one inside Los anyway. But now that, as soon as it goes, El Gigantin comes in, that makes it difficult. I'm just going to say, I don't think they're going to be able to stay alive for long. They lose 2 immediately. They did not expect, let me see. They rotate up. So Schiff must have heard the vehicles, but he must have maybe thought that they were going to push further north around. Because once Ghost Star is in between them, like maintaining this split becomes really, really difficult. And now they have 2 players caught out in the open. So they end up losing 2. It's a greedy split, but it's also far enough out on the edge of the circle that you wouldn't expect it to get punished. But it does. Rex, smart rotating. They know that Navi's in the center compound. Go all the way over, down to the second. Now you have a good 2-way split there. Oh my fucking god. That's a north shift if I've seen one. Okay, so what do we do here? Other than everyone has to rotate. I mean, Phantom, they're just going to continue, you would have to think. Do you go into Picado, though? Because I feel like once you're here, to here, there's not really anywhere that you can stop in between. Either you play up here or you play in Picado. You don't play, like, the dip down here. At least not right now. Obviously, Rex, they're going to go up here. YMCA are going to see them leave. They would probably go take this. Raise your edge, what do you do? I'm not sure. If you're really lucky and you raise your edge, Entropy, here's Liquid Leaf, which means they can go take that. But I wouldn't assume that to be an option. Like, the south side down here is going to be really, really tricky to play. And if Elgiganten, if Marsalek reads this one right, he's going to see that this is open. It's going to allow for Ghost Star to be pushed down. And then somehow Norkis might be able to get in there as well. Exalt, there are 2 players alive. Not going to be able to do much. Team Unique. The thing is, you can't really wrap West around. I mean, you can, but it's going to take a long time. And you're also in a position where you know for a fact that all compounds are taken. So unless if you want to play the Shack or the Shack, can't really play that Shack, or you can play the north side up here. Unless if you want to do that, then I don't think that's the play to make. We'll see what happens. We're going to slow it down a little. They do go wrap around. Okay, so they do wrap West. Phantom decides to stay instead of crashing Picado. Ooh, they wanted to wrap, but no. Adepts, okay, so does Entropy ever leave? No. WSG gets it instead. So both Adepts, they didn't want to push down that hill. Ens as well want to wrap around this way. And Unique, everyone goes this way because what do you have to play on this side? You have an open field. You have a compound that you must expect to be taken. And then you have the big dip where you can't do a whole lot from. So what is your entry point to this circle? A massive dip, or like crater, an open field. Like, your entry points are really, really, really slim on this side of the circle. You can drive up this road, which is barely even because you expect this compound to be taken. So once you get down the hill, they're just going to go pew, pew, pew on you. So the only alternative is to try and wrap all the way north around into this area, which you can technically rotate through. But where do you go? Like, where do you go once you get there? Do you play this? Do you crash into Picado from there, expecting there's already be a team here sitting and shooting at you? I think the Western play is it's the smarter one in terms of it's like pest or cholera, you know? Like, it's either you go up here to die, at least you expect to, or you try and wrap around and maybe you can crash something and it could go your way. If you're lucky, you can catch a team while they're split, but as you can see, as soon as the circle pops, Navi, they go, nope. Actually, they don't. They maintain their split. Okay. So this happened exactly as expected. YMCA reads that they're split. They'll get the compound inside. What happens down here, though? How does Ens, Adepts, and Unique make their way around with Northern Lights players here as well? Adepts just send it. Okay, they just go full speed. 2 dips, that's what they're gonna bang on. Ens play corner and the Shack. New circle, hard shift south, has to go away from this, so that makes sense. Blaze are late, still in the blue. They have Apocalypse, he's inside, but it's not too far in. Liquid should have regrouped. Yeah, you would probably want to see Mexi and EB go down to James and K-Mind. Because if they get pushed now, then they're screwed. The only thing is, this compound, you don't really have any vision. Like, you have the big hill that goes around like this. This is like the top, right? So it goes uphill, 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 all the way around them. So you're very much just in a bowl there where you can't really see a whole lot. So if the next circle goes up here, then it can be really, really difficult to get out of there. And if any team reads that this is a 2-way split, then they're really in a dangerous position because I think it's pretty difficult to hold. Can you see? I don't think you can see from here over here. I'm actually not sure. But I agree, they probably would want to play together. But now it might be too late because as soon as they go for their vehicles, you can see Adepts on the ridge line. WSG, they have eyes down on the compound as well. It's going to be hard now. They had a couple of second time gap to do it, but they didn't. We'll see if it costs them anything that they didn't do it. YMCA and Rex, full on brawl inside the compound. Phantom wrapped around north, playing it from there. Blaze have to push it on foot. They're getting shut up by Entropy. You'd think that WSG would push out to take out Entropy. They just wait for them, and they kill them there instead. Okay, makes sense. Circle goes west. They're gonna stay. Tornado Energy, only 2 alive are gonna stay as well. Entropy has to crash that. You would think. I crashed the Longhouse over the top. There comes WGSG. 4 into 2. Liquid still 2-way split. Ooh, K-Mine stays alive. No, okay, never mind, he doesn't. But Liquid goes out. And I think, again, had they just committed earlier, like when this circle popped, had they committed to one of them, they would have been 4v4 holding off WGSG when they were breaching. And that could maybe have turned out differently. But good play by WGSG, being able to keep 3 alive. Xiong stayed by, make that 2 alive. Xiong didn't quite make it down the hill. Here comes Exalt, crashing in, shift goes across, makes it over. Ooh, Entropy going down, try to rotate over. So what do you do here? Navi are just gonna chill. Like, Navi is literally just gonna sit around and wait. They didn't have cars, that's another thing, right? Because if they're sitting up here, then they probably had their vehicles popped already. Open field outside is going to be practically impossible to play. And everyone else is on the northern side anyway. So Tornado Energy, they're going to, I would assume that Aaliyah sticks around for a little while longer. Doesn't push to Millman yet. Yep, I was just going to say he's going to make sure that no one's going to wrap into this area. Because that means that Millman can play this with his back safe. Like, there's no one down here. Navi, I would have expected to push out, but no, they're sticking around. Wanted to make sure there was no one up here. So now they can play, like, now they can look this direction with this area cleared. And then they have to wrap, right? You would have to think. Yes, they do. Two down. This has to be a Navi win, you'd think. 4v2. Can Tornado do it? Melman and Aaliyah, 2v4. Final circle. Oh, it's a northern circle, actually. Okay. So the reason it's not shown is because they're going to go down. Or one team is going to go down, yep, before the game is over. Aaliyah dies to blue. Smart play by Navi, to be fair. They kept their 2-way split for a while as well. Even when the circle shifted up towards the north, they kept their 2-way split. They allow for Adibs to push through. It was really, really fortunate for Navi that Adibs didn't decide to stick around here, but that they actually went over, because that kind of, as you can see, reopens that rotation opportunity for them to get back together. But it's early, like, it's them, it's Navi playing, like, these are the circles where Navi can go out and do well, right? Where they are late in rotating, they get in kind of with the blue. You can see Senya comes in just before blue hits. When they then get that north shift, all of a sudden now they have all the space in the world. And everyone else who were committed further down, who were committed further down south, have a northern rotation to make. Like, get back up, where they're already sitting well in it, right? So whenever we have these double circle hard shifts in the early game, like circle 2 and circle 3, that's when Navi sometimes really, really can thrive in those situations. So good game by Navi. Let's hop on over to Sanhok for one game. Again, it's limited how much we do analysis on Sanhok, just because Sanhok is mainly a fighting map. And as I explained last game as well, it's kind of tricky to do like actual engagement analysis off of a map stream. Stock, you can just go on Liquipedia. They update them pretty quickly. On the PUBG esports homepage, I guess. Plain north. Do we actually get one more of these circles? No. Okay, thank you. This one, without having seen the game, I expect to end there. Either there or there. Those are my 2 bits. I don't know where it actually ends, but those are my 2 bits. Let's see. Easy rotations up from the south side. Raise your edge might go north around. Okay, so I'm gonna go Exalt rotates right east. Like they do what FaZe tend to do sometimes. Go around and try and get something up here. That's my bet. That's my circle 1 rotation bet. Maybe Northern Lights are gonna try and do that exact same thing. Let's see. Exalt still looting, not in a hurry. Get their vehicles, gonna drive. Exalt are doing that. Northern Lights are doing that exact thing. Exalt get in. Oh, it shifted down south again. That's not too often we see that. Went down south. Everyone was already banking on it going up here. You can see trying to take control in this area. No one is expecting it to go back down south. I mean, looking at how many people when we started the game. Okay, there's... Oh, wait, there's... Oh, yeah, Diamond Dogs aren't playing. So this is normally a very contested area. Like, these compounds here are normally pretty contested by multiple teams. You got DA, you got ENS sometimes, you got Diamond Dogs, you got 7 Esports, but none of them are here. And because Omarken ain't playing, ENS go, well, I guess that's just a free quarry for us then. So they'll go down there. Ah, okay. Because I would say normally there'd be more players here that want to push northway, but no, not really. Not really, not this time around at least. Let's see how this goes down. Adepts pushing upward. Liquid playing north around Paradise. As I said before, everyone expects it to go north. It comes back south. Oops. And when we then draw a line through the middle, you can already now see how contested the north is. This is kind of the middle, right? I'm so bad at drawing straight lines. You can now kind of see how much more concentrated these, like this circle is on the northern side than down south, where not only is it, I guess, there more space, but also it's, I would argue, easier to play the south side because these roads are very, very straight and very long, and they can be extremely difficult to cross. And also you have some of the open areas like here and down here, to be fair, where it can be extremely difficult to do like safe crosses. So how all the teams on the northern side are gonna get around, I'm not quite sure. If it does go south, we'll see. It could shift back up north again. YMCA, they're staying north. They go, oh, please go north. It doesn't, but close enough. Northeast. Still plenty of room out here. Surprised to see that not more teams are opting to stick around, but I guess teams just want to be like, they want to be safe. I think what you want to do, a big thing on Sanhok, is being on the correct side of the road. Like, the less you have to cross roads, the better off you are. I feel like that's, if Fuzzface is still here, if some of the players are still here, maybe they can either agree or disagree. But I feel like roads is something you don't want to have to cross them, because they on Sanhok kind of become rivers in their own way. You need to spend X amount of smokes to get across, usually, and it's just no fun to have to cross the roads, because there's also not that many places where rocks and trees go all the way out to the road. So you have like not only the road itself, but also like 2 or 3 meters on each side where it can be hard to get around. He started streaming Dota. Ah, okay. Let's see. Everyone's fighting around Paradise. Again, fighting analysis. We can't do much of it here. Oh, it's going to be one of those endings. It's going to end there. Nope, it's not. It's going to go to the east side. Paradise. Okay. Shift. YOLO! Not going to work out. Could probably have called that. This is one of those circles where Omarken would push out from this compound and just start killing everyone. But not quite the case. Fighting. Again, it's really difficult for me to do proper analysis of a fighting without seeing the in-game. Maybe we'll get that someday, that we can actually do proper fight analysis. But Sanhok, we normally go with them pretty quickly, just because. Unless if it's some really wild, wonky new circles that you don't see too often, you can't do too much in terms of analysis. Adepts, they push out. Were they the ones to land here to begin with? No, they weren't. Where did Adepts split? They let ENS go here. So they came from south side. Yeah, they did. Okay, so they looted here. Yeah, they loot like this split here. And then they just wrap up north on foot. Makes sense. And they just slowly push around. Stay south side Paradise. Again, smart clear. They've read there's a big fight going on. Push down, get some kills off of it. Push back together, push into the next circle, go north around. Again, swoop. Clear your sights as the circle continues to push on in. Don't just be a stale target, but always wrap around and try and see if you can third party. Gets a good third party opportunity on Tornado and Liquid. Right. Another good third party opportunity when Ratio Edge and Enza has to leave, and they hold Cinder. Makes good sense. What did they end up with? 6, 10, 12 kills. That's a good chunk of points. Good chunk of points indeed. That was Sanhok. Again, we're over them a little quicker than other maps, but that's just because Sanhok is Sanhok. I'm looking forward to do Vikendi analysis someday. It's gonna be fun. Game number 4. Coming up. Before we go into game number 4, any questions, chat? When does the game start today? In 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you so much, Sita. He was there as well, helping out. Any questions before we get started? What program do I use? Program. Anything else? Who do I think will qualify? We kind of went over that earlier. So, you know, that was actually before we started this stream. So who do I think will qualify? I think every team that can get more than 80 points will qualify. Guaranteed. And then there might be 1 or 2 teams with under 80 points that will qualify as well. But every team that has 80 points or more will qualify. And then maybe 1 or 2 teams under 80 points. That's my guess. I hope this answers your question, Mr. Chrono Shift. How to win a game? Don't suck, Go Star. I think that's the strategy. Shit. That is the only thing I haven't figured out yet. Yeah, note taken. Don't suck. But how do we do that? What teams will get over 80 points? Well, that's what we'll find out today. Some teams already have over 80 points. But there's still some teams left to play. Toxic Toby. What do you mean, Thursday? I'm never toxic. Pfft. Let's hop over to game number 4. Alright. Straightforward, plain. Pretty straightforward, I would say at least. Everyone can go where they want to. No Milta team. Somebody didn't do their homework. Or maybe they just don't care about Milta, which is also fair. Tornado Energy doesn't have Diamond Dogs. They'll spread into farm, as we talked about yesterday. Navi, they have plenty of room down here. That Etiquette aren't here. They'll be able to loot up there. You see, this is a thing, right? Where, okay, so Phantom and ex-Sauna Boys loot up here together. And that's just me thinking, if you're Phantom, and you know that Rex have been looting here for the better part of always, or if you're YMCA and you split hospital. I mean, they are, YMCA do like looting Prim, so I guess this is the best they can go with wanting to rotate from the west. I'm just thinking when something like Milta is open, you'd want to go there instead. Because everything else is pretty straightforward. I would just think that, I mean, I guess you do have both Blaze and Northern Lights team around, which could make things tricky in terms of rotating out if you don't know the timings on those. You have like 3 teams around you, whereas to when you're on the west coast, you're a little safer. I don't know. We shall see. How am I doing? Thank you, Helix. I'm doing good. Circle, though, went north. Okay, now I know that the majority of you guys have watched this game or these games already yesterday, but I'm gonna put a wager in chat. How many? Let's draw a line kind of through the middle. Once the next circle pops, how many teams will be north of the red line? You're not allowed to go in and check. If you don't remember, that's your own fault. I want some guesses in the chat. How many teams when circle 2 pops will be north of the red line? 5 or 6, 4, 3, 4 teams, 11. Go north! Commit to it! Okay, so there's a lot of different bets. Let's just roll it and see what happens. Then we'll count it up whenever we'll fast forward a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, 9 with Senya? Nah, they're down here. We'll call Navi South. 8 teams. Did anyone have 8? Is that the only number no one guessed? 17. I feel like that's the best bet I've seen all day. No one said 8. 8 teams with 8? No one said 8. Interesting. Now, why was that? Why does that happen? I think there's 2 reasons to it. And the most important one of those 2, we kind of had this same discussion yesterday when we discussed the military shift. Like, why would you be on one side over the other? If you look at what's available, let's just remove everyone. If you look at this area, was shooting range included? Yes, it was. If we look at this area, what is available here, right? Like playable, good terrain. Compound, shooting range, Severny. It's not, you don't really want to be in cities, but we'll make that white line. So it's like a good place, good place, good place. You can play that kind of. There are some areas, right? But there's also a whole hell of a lot of open shit you don't want to be forced into before the late circles. Like, you don't want to be sitting around in any of this in phase 2. Right? Same thing over here. I guess you can kind of play that, but you don't want to be sitting there this early either. There's a lot of stuff down here you don't want to be forced into. And if we look down south, go away. You have compounds all over the place. Compound, compound, forest, compound, 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 there, compound, compound, forest, compound, compound. You don't want to be there, but you can. Compound, dip, ridgeline, Yasnaya. There are more options, right? You must draw this. Yeah, I know. I'm bad at drawing circles. But you get what I mean. If we compare the 2 areas, there's much more playability on the south side than there is up north. So the reason we see so many teams go north in this circle is that in case the circle goes north and you're sitting north already, you will have locked down one of these few spots that there are available, and you'll probably be fine for the next couple of circles. And in case it goes south and you're north, odds are that if you scout properly, and maybe you have to take a fight on a split team, but if you scout properly, you'll be able to get a spot as well because there's so much available. Whereas too, if you're sitting south now, no matter if you're sitting in like a super smart 2-way split, if the circle goes north and you're on the south side of this shift, odds are that by the time you make your way up to that north side, everything will be taken and you have to fight for stuff, or you have to like prone turtle down in the open somewhere and just go hide and hope that circles keep coming your way. So, and also remember, I mean, your vehicle's only durable for so many rotations, right? If you keep driving past all these compounds, you're gonna get shot at, and either if you don't die, at least your vehicle will have taken damage. So expecting to be able to do more than maybe 2 or 3 rotations in a car, even though there could still be gas in it, is optimistic in competitive PUBG, because odds are that your vehicle will have been shot at some point. So that's why I wanted to hear your thoughts as well on how many teams we expect to sit up on the northern side, because they want to lock down some of all this territory, whereas down here, there's still a whole lot available, even if the circle should go back down south. Does that make sense? 1 in the chat if it made sense to you. On YouTube as well. Write 1 in the comments if you understood what I was saying. I hope it does make sense. So, circle does go south. Now the only issue becomes, for a lot of these people trying to rotate through, 69. Gotta use the... Did he just allow me to write a number in chat? Oh! And then the puberty just strikes immediately. Boops. Yeah. The only issue now rotating north to south here is that you have 2 obstacles that aren't going to be that easy to deal with. A, Yasnaya. Don't want to crash into that unless you have to. B, water. Now, who's going to be sitting around here waiting on either one of these 3 bridges? Probably no one, but you can never be safe. You can never be safe. So a lot of teams will opt to not rotate through here. Like they'll try to either wrap all the way around. That's a nice arrow. Or wrap all the way north around. Or, I mean, I would assume some teams try to go through here. But again, have one team sitting here. And that's most likely you losing at least one player. But let's see. Adepts, they're hunkering down there. Ents were already nearby, so they can rotate like that. YMCA, slow rotating over the top, trying to make sure there's no one around. Elgiganten all the way over. Rex around. Raychurch around. NLT around. Want to avoid these choke point areas. So they're all trying to wrap around. And also they know, oh, the circle shifted south. There are so many teams north. If we get far enough down south, we'll have something to play from. Exactly, Helix. Maturity. Average age in Twitch chat, 32. Average mental age in Twitch chat, 13. I know. I've been there. Circle. Back north we go. And now we're just shifted out of, I think, a lot of the compounds. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Can someone write exclamation mark program in the chat? It's very generous. Maybe it is. Probably more like 11. Or 7. Yasnaya is up for grabs. Anyone can go there. Do you want to go there, though? There is still a lot of not Yasnaya inside this circle, right? So if you go into Yasnaya now and you sit in these buildings, if you have to fight your way out of Yasnaya again because the next circle goes down here, odds are you won't make that rotation. So teams still saying, I really don't want to go Yasnaya. What's the alternative, though? Exalt and us 2. Okay, this is I didn't even notice that. I would assume that once I press start again, that these guys are gonna be driving over here. But it is Exalt. They do play some pretty greedy splits every now and again. Sometimes they get punished. We saw that on the Miramar game just before. But they're probably one of those teams that even if they don't push together now, I wouldn't be too surprised. But you do have WGSG kind of breathing down your neck right up here. And if they read this is a two-way split and the circle goes anywhere east, they'll be like full speed sending it into that compound. Tornado Energy, 3 alive. They're going to be playing yellows. Oh, had this just been Erangel 2.0, we would have all the dips here that you could play as well. But it's not, so you can't do that. What's playable, though, that isn't already taken? Other than Yasnaya. If we just say Yasnaya is out. No one's going to be sitting on the other side of the border because it's going to shift away from that. So the circle is pretty much guaranteed to go down here. Next circle, that is. There's nothing. Place maintaining this as a 3-1 split seems a little pointless to me. Like, what's the idea of keeping Lips in here? Might as well just play 4 over here. Not pointless in as in it's okay, pointless is the wrong word. It seems greedy for no reason. Normally when you're greedy, it's because you can really gain something by the greed. But here, what's the best they can get? The circle could go to the west and they would have this and they could all push over. Sure, but if they have one guy, like if they have the people breaching this compound, it's either they lose Lips or he has to back off anyway. Also, it could be hard for him to leave if people are playing Volcano. So I don't know. This circle seems like I would rather play 4 together. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Like now, with Mixie and James here, he can't do anything. If his team gets breached, he can't do anything to help because there's a fear that they'll just breach him, right? So right now, they're playing as 3 and he's not able to do, like he's not going to be able to assist at all. Now he's just locked down in that compound. And if all of Northern Lights decide to crash in here, they can't do anything to help him either. So it seems like a pointless split. Had it been 2 like really priority areas, like Exalt, for example, sitting in a split where they have 2 areas under control that can really like change a game, then sure. But right now, they know the circle's going to go somewhere in this direction. I would rather just play as 4. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see what happens. Okay, Nuki just goes YOLO. Did he drive by someone? Oh no, okay, so Battlein finds him on the roof. Nuki is the bait. 1 goes down. Nuki goes over. Ends up getting killed by Lipson. 1 more gone down. That is that's a YOLO breach. Finally, thank you, Lipson goes back. They lose 1. Lipson goes back. And that's when Unique heard that they left, so they should go play here. At least I would assume so. We'll see. Do they stay? Why would they not go up? New circle, as expected, goes down to the southeast. Actually, a little bit of water in, but I guess that doesn't really count for anything. Exalt. I knew this was gonna happen. That's what I said. This is game 4. No, wait, is it? It is game 4, right? Now I'm confused. Did I forget to change this? I feel like it's game 4. Maybe it's game 5. It is game 4. As I said, if this circle goes anywhere east, Exalt better damn be ready to leave. Look at it. Look at what happens. Look at what happens. As soon as the circle pops, 2 aggressive endgame teams. As soon as the circle pops, they're like, get away! And look at what happens as a result to that. Both teams hard crash into it. They knew that. Like, as soon as that circle pops, we better damn get the hell out of there. And they immediately start their brawl. Makes perfect sense. Now that these compounds are going to be out, and Volcano is out as well, you can start playing some of the field areas down here. But you can only really play there as 1 or 2 teams. So they all need to finish off this fight. Coltamenta goes, ooh, I can sneak past. But nope, not going to happen. Elgiganten playing the east side of Yas, trying to find somewhere to go. Unique goes back to where they were before, but here are Navi trying to get inside the circle as well. That's a fight none of them would have wanted to take. Oops. Northern Lights trying to hold off in the meantime. Liquid got the better of WSG and YMCA joins. Elgiganten had to go somewhere. They up to crash into yellows because, again, look at where they are in the circle centering up. Where the hell do you go? Like, this is literally just a big field. As long as both yellows and Yasnaya compounds are in, like, had this gone there instead, then you could have played the northern side of this. I don't know what you guys call this area, but I know what the pro players call it. Had Yas been out, you could have waited for blue, like park your cars down here and then push up and play the north side of this. But now that it's like, now that the edge of the buildings is still in, you can't really play there safely. So what is really playable? Nothing. Because if you go over, like, let's look at a random hay bale, right? If you go over with your vehicles and you hide here to not get shot at by these guys, then you're gonna get shot in the back. If you hide here, then you're gonna get shot in the back. So I mean, there's not really anything you can do. Where is Volcano? It is the hill right here where Mexican teams are running around. Whenever someone says Volcano, it's always here. Just on this northeast side of apartments. Right there. Yeah, so what's playable? Like, what other options do Elgiganten have when this shift comes in? None. You could try and crash into Yasnaya, knowing that it's going to be shifted out in just a moment. That's not really going to be worth. You can't sit out here any longer. As soon as you start driving a little bit forward, all of Entropy can see you. They have to crash. That's really their only play. Forced to YOLO for it. They know it's probably not going to work, and it doesn't. Northern Lights trying to push in slow. Navi playing around the dips up there. Ends, I like the two-way split. Push 2 guys up to try and contain. Have 2 guys push further forward to get inside the circle. They get up. They get 2 kills. They back off. They play together down there. EB teams have to get out somehow. Most likely not going to be possible. And now is where we can start, as you can see, because okay, so like before, this area here, right? You cannot play this side as long as this is in. You cannot play this side as long as this is in. Which means that now that Tornado knows, well, we are the team that is playing this side, and we've just cleared everything that was out here, now we can go play this side, because we know that there's no one here anymore. So they can now go play on this side, and try and hold off teams pushing up towards them. Doesn't work. Did Flammy just get a triple kill? Damn, Flammy! Impressive. That's like a Northern Lights going, oh, thank you. We wanted a fresh spot anyway. Circle goes south. Nothing to play from. A lot of hay belts. Oh, this circle would have been so much fun on New Erangel with like all the craters here. This would have been a pretty interesting circle shift on New Erangel. Maybe we'll get them. Maybe we'll get them someday. Exalt pushing forward. They have a rock or a little hillside they can play from, which you can only play when this is out, which is why they can now push down and take it. They split out. Like, this is in this area of the map, Exalt do well, but so does Northern Light. Look at how they split out to take control. Perfectix, contain. Spiro, hold off, but also be ready to help. Battlein, contain on the other side. Deep, exact same thing. So you have 2 edge players who are trying to contain on each side, and then you have 2 players who can, in case it's needed, come over and help. Really smart setup. A 2-1-1 split in the late game. But you don't really see it as a 2-1-1 split. But it kind of is. Like, the Deep is on the right side player, ready to help Battlein. Spiro is ready to help Effectix. They're holding off each side. Smart playing. They go down 4v2. Navi, good luck. You're gonna need it. Northern Lights team, scary bunch. Best of luck. No kill for you. And the game comes to an end. GG, well played. They end up getting 12 kills. 22-point game, pretty damn decent. That was game number 4. Let's hop on over to game number 5. Beep, boop. Any questions before we head on over to the next one? Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. There's a lot of you guys here and a lot of new follows. It is really, really appreciated. What do I think would have played out differently at 2.0? Well, there would have been an area you could have crashed with your vehicles and you could have played the dips. And also, remember, all the hay bales are breakable? Is that a word? Can be broken. I want to see the team. I want to see the team that plays yellow houses before anyone else comes to the field. Just sacrifice one player. He's just going to be the one that drives around and destroys all the hay bales. It's like, haha, no cover for you guys. That could be the funniest thing. Breakable is a word. Yes, English, guaranteed. Woo! Any dark horses to smash games today? Yes. Who do I think will have a good day today? That's actually that one we can look at it. Liquipedia. That's the wrong tournament. Who will have a good day today? Omarken will. Yep, that's about it. They'll win the whole thing. No, let's see. A dark horse for today. I don't really think of the teams that I think are doing well as dark horses, but a team that could come out today and have a good day, maybe as a surprise to some. I guess we can put it that way. I'm gonna say that could be win streak 15. Maxisol and Astroman and the guys, they could come out today and surprise people. I think they're gonna have more loot, like more space to loot. And I mean, they might still not be able to qualify. They're right now sitting in second to last. They would need like 70 some points in one day. If they can pull off an Exalt on day 1, then they might be able to qualify. Like, that's still not guaranteed. They need 66 points in order to hit that 80-point marker, which I think is going to be the limit. So they would need to average over 10 points per game. Actually, 11. Exactly 11 points per game to hit that, which is going to be pretty damn near impossible. So I don't think that's going to happen, but they could still go out and have like 1 or 2 games where they surprise people. But if they can average 11 points, then it's pretty impressive. We'll see. You wanted a potential dark horse. There is your dark horse. Liquid is out. Who will go Pachinki today? They don't need to. Who will go Pachinki today? That's a good question. Let me think about that one. I'll get back to you on that. Who do you guys think will go Pachinki today? Now that Liquid aren't here, I'll think about that one. That's a good one. We'll work it out together. But now let's head it. Excuse me, to game number 5. Plane fly. Plane north. Interesting. Not really. Pretty straightforward plane. Everyone can go exactly where they want. South circle with the northern plane. We don't see those too often. TSM. I don't know why they'd go there instead of just going Milta. Inside games, I was thinking as well, but no. Well, I'll take that discussion with you after we're done with the analysis. Navi rotating down. Of course, Northern Plane didn't really allow for them to land exactly where they wanted. They'll get some costs. Did they steal? Wow. Okay, so Navi all commit to steal WTSG's hard spawn in ruins. Because they know that Liquid are gonna go take vehicles out here. That is ballsy. That is ballsy. But they commit. They go south around. Coyote actually... This is a little interesting. They split much further out than I thought they might. He's gonna go down because of it, right? Nope, he's gonna be... Oh, he actually gets to leave. That's interesting. I thought that with Navi and YMCA in the same lobby, that YMCA would commit more to the west side and like loot Prim and west as opposed to Prim and over here, because on day one when we saw them with Etiquette, they were playing it pretty aggressive as well, and I was like, okay, maybe that's just because it's Etiquette. Maybe when Navi comes in, they'll back off a little more, but nope, not the case. Also, this plane was a little different, I guess. James, crossing over, has the vision from his teammates in case something goes sideways. They're looking to see if this compound is clear, which it is not right now. Tornado Energy, they're rotating out. They've had more room to loot now that Diamond Dogs ain't here. Normally they've been down here. Instead, they wrap a little further towards the east. Get the snake, get this as well. Be able to split off there. Let's slow it down a little bit. Teams are not going to wrap through Pachinki, obviously. Exalt over the hilltop, I would assume. Oh, they're going to play south side Pachinki. Okay, makes sense. Having fun with plays on the hillside. YMCA splitting west. Northern Lights crossing over. Huh. I don't think that's a good play. We'll see. Maybe it'll pay off and the circle comes back to them. We'll see. The thing is, even if the circle goes down here, whichever team crosses over last, which in this case would be Unique, it can be pretty difficult for them to get away from here, which means that if they're still sitting around here for the next two circles, then Northern Lights are gonna be trapped, right? Like, then they have to go for boats, and if the circle then goes north, they're screwed because there's no vehicles left. If you want to rotate south around like this, I would think that you want to sit up here first. Like, go here now. I was just gonna draw a line. I didn't do it. Go here now, and then whenever the next circle pops, then you can make that rotation, because then you know that this is probably gonna be cleared up. But sitting down here now seems like a misplay in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see if it pays off. Entropy and the gang down. Now they might as well just take a boat and sail to Primorsk. I think Navi will qualify. There's a chance. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. 399 viewers. You guys are amazing, honestly. I remember doing these broadcasts. If you go onto YouTube and watch, I've done these since before PGL, not PGC, not PGI, PGL, in like mid 2018, I think, or late 2018. And back then, we like for the first year, we did these streams with like 15 or 16 viewers, and the fact that so many of you guys tune into this, like to watch this now, I think is amazing. So thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all so much for, not so much for me and like, ooh, I got viewers on my channel, more of a showing that people actually give a shit about competitive PUBG. I think that's nice. Thank you. I don't really, I mean, I do care about the viewers, like view numbers, but to me, it's more important that we get this scene to keep growing. It's all thanks to you guys. Elgiganten, WTSG, and ENS, they need to figure out what they want to do. Exalt going, yeah, nah, let's just drive around that, shall we? There's like a billion teams fighting. ENS do the same thing. Wrap around, Gatka is clear, Exalt, wrap for... Okay, that's a nice Exalt read. Go up on the hillside, scout south, they hear Raise Your Edge, they go back to take Observatory. Northern Lights, as I said, had to wait until they knew that the other guys were gone. They scout over, see Tornado Energy. They now have room to maneuver. Open still. Circle's gonna go away from the water. There's no landmass that it has to go towards. And teams are committing west. Why is that? Because there's nothing to play out here. Yes, you can play in the field now, but why? New circle pops. What do we have for opportunities here? Adepts, if you keep this 4-way split, you're gonna die. Raise your edge, sitting well in it. Entropy, play as 2, push 2 up on the hillside to scout. Unique, gonna stay. Ooh, again, I'm waiting for the compounds down here. That's gonna change up the swamp endings as well. Or not swamp, but like this. I guess it's kind of swampish, like up here. The swamp kind of area, and also just the whole quarry area. Once that change comes in, that's gonna be fun. Does Adepts commit to this or to that, though? What would you guys do? In this situation, let's say that you hadn't seen the games yesterday, because I haven't seen them, but let's say you guys hadn't seen the games either. Which of these two would you commit to? 1 or 2? Let me know in the chat. If you were Adepts in this situation, where would you play? A lot of 2s, some 1s. Easier to defend number 1 than it is to defend number 2. That's one argument. A lot of 1s. Okay, so you're still kind of split. It's easier to get later. Who is WCSG's IGL? It's Shong. You might know him as Samty, but Shong. Easier to progress. 2, you don't need to cross the road again. 1, and play the riches later. Now, we had this discussion. The reason I'm asking, we had this discussion yesterday in terms of what makes a god compound, what makes a super duper compound, and what are the things that you're looking for when deciding which compounds are good and which compounds are bad. The benefit down here is, as you guys said in the chat as well, it's easier to defend, mainly because you'll know when people come crossing, and you have wall. No, you actually don't have wall. Never mind. That's not a key to it. But it's hard for people to like breach. If you want to go with a car, you have to like zigzag your way through. You'll hear them miles before. If you're trying to breach from here through here, that wouldn't make sense. So no one's pretty much going to be coming from here. Northern side, they can barely even see you, so they'd be driving downhill with no vision, and you'd have first shots on them, and you can't really drive through the swamp either. So it's hard to breach for another team, unless if you're like full speed YOLOing into it. And also, even though it's a road you have to cross, the roads, I would argue, are more dangerous on Sanhok than they are on Erangel. Because on Sanhok, you'd have like one team here, one team here, one team here. All of a sudden, this road is pretty damn scary. But now, there's still enough space, so crossing the road isn't the most dangerous thing. And also, from here, you can play into the bowl, you can play into the swamp, you can play into the hillside, you can play into the swamp, you can play into the ridges, you can play into the ridges. So there's a lot of playability around this area. When you sit here, though, you're very much out in the open. You literally are surrounded by a field. Like, there's a field that goes something along the lines of this all the way around your compound. Which means it's an isolated place. So if you're center, it can be good in case the circle keeps coming to you. But if they don't, then you're most likely screwed. Because you cannot, as long as this hillside is in, you cannot play in the open. As long as quarry is in, you cannot play in the open. So the only way that this compound is going to benefit you is if, like, the only way you can actually do something from here is if this is shifted out. So if you're on the south side of the circle, because you do have a little bit of an uphill in this direction, so you could actually play here without these guys being able to see you, but all these guys would be able to see you throughout that entire time. What can you play? Like, what can you rotate to from here, though? You can go into swamp if you're allowed to by these people, and you can push up here and play from there. So this is a very situational area. So I would say in this circle, I would argue that this over here is better, but having said that, I think both are equally good. Because circles, just because of circle tendencies and stuff, we do see endings go down. Like, when have we ever seen a shift like this end on the hill, right? They'll go down here, they'll go end like down below, they'll end up here. So they will get to play the south side of the circle more often than not. And even if it does hard shift south, they'll be able to play that compound for a while as well. So I think you can make good arguments for both these compounds, but I'm excited to see which one they commit to. And if they commit to one, maybe they'll just keep the 2-2 split, which I don't think is a bad idea, because you have no way of helping out each other. Like, you have no line of sight from here over here. You cannot help each other at all. You can barely even hear. Like from here, you can barely even hear if a vehicle is pushing up on this, right? So you have no way of helping each other at all. So commit to 1. We'll see what they do, Adepts. No commitment yet. Keeping the 2-2 split. Liquid go. Oh, they're two-way splitting. Interesting. Oh, and they don't lose anyone off of it. Fortunate. Fortunate. But they disengage. They hold it, and they say, we have our vehicles parked safe on the other side. If somebody breach, we just get the fuck out of there. And they do that, and it works out. They commit west. Makes perfect sense. Liquid, they read the 2-man split, and they make a good play on it too. Northern Lights, they have to wrap around. Quarry, they do exactly that. And all of a sudden, that compound is now pretty damn nice to sit in. Noki, I would assume, is just going to send it back towards his teammates. Too slow, Noki. Too slow, Noki. Ooh, he made it anyway. Exalt, they breached on over. Were they sitting hillside? No, they were sitting swamp. So they just crashed 3 bikes up on the hill. They get control of that. Back down again so that Rage Urge can't focus them. I would have thought that now that Eddie... No, okay, I guess they don't... Maybe they don't know because they hear ends down here as well. You cannot really aggress up and play this hillside when you're entropy, as long as there's a swamp team can still get to shoot you in the back. So it makes pretty good sense, I guess, that they're gonna play it passive on that side of the circle. They'll be waiting. Hillside is still up. Swamp south side is still available. Everyone tried to wrap around Quarry. That's, of course, going to be a shit show. So everyone's going to go down there. Always is. Always happens. Circle centering up. Again, now, as we talked about before, because Hillside is out, Quarry is, well, it's not out yet completely, but it's going to be out. That means that you can push up and start playing. If you're Liquid, same thing here. You can try and push across and play. But if you're Adepts, do you want to stick around, though? Because if you push up now... and the circle hasn't pushed in yet. If you start running out now, another team is just going to go in and say, haha, let's just sit here for a second, shoot these guys, and then we'll take their spot. So I think it would make sense for Adepts to stick around and then push in with the circle. Because in this area of the map, no one can really push into this area before you. Like, they wouldn't be able to get here before you get there. So I think they're going to stick around and wait for their circle to be all the way in. Entropy, gonna try and contain Navi. No, they're gonna leave. Okay, interesting. They're gonna leave. I thought they were gonna try and hold off Navi, but not quite the case. Wait, what? 2-2. They know Navi is down here. Flammy goes for the shack. Anonymous spots Navi again. Now they're pushing. Flammy is now not there, which means, oh, guys, 3v4, let's back off. They try to back off. QPE isn't ready to rotate, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's healing. Gets taken down. Anonymous tries to continue without the backup of anyone. Goes down. Trico has to fall back. How could Entropy have played that one different? When does GLL start? I don't know. A couple of months, I guess. A month? A week? I don't know. How could Entropy, guys, how could Entropy have played this different? Again, this is not me trying to teach you things. It's me trying to discuss with you these different games. And if you're in chat as well, think about it. How could Entropy have played this different? They could have taken the fight to Navi. I'm unsure what the idea of having Flammy push the shack is. That's another play. They could have pushed north around, right? You still have the bottom side of Swamp in. I don't know what this is for. I mean, it's okay, guys. We have a spot in the circle now. We can do something. But this is, I call it the suicide check. Like, you'll be alive as long as you can just hide in there, but you can't do anything from that spot. If the hill is in, if the compound is in, if these guys are alive, there are so many spots that can make this shack completely unplayable. The secure placement, there's still 44 players alive. At this point, you're expecting there to be at least like 12 teams alive. And if the next circle shifts away, you're going to get 9th and you're not going to get any placement points. So I would have thought too, hold off Navi, or at least, I mean, so what you could do, and I kind of get this idea, but what I would think is you hold off Navi, or at least force them to wrap the other way and go, haha, we're here, we're gonna run in with you, there's no way in hell you're gonna do anything. And then you push down. But then the issue, I think that's their concern as well, is that, oh no, but what if Ens pushes underneath and take the shack first? Then once we have fought off Navi and we have to push in, we have nothing to play. But then again, then you have them locked down into a shack, and if they have pushed down to take the shack, then you can push north. So I don't think, I mean, they lose 2 trying to do a half, like they do a half hold, but then when they aggress on them, they don't hold, then they leave, and they lose 2 players. Anonymous crosses over, thinks this is free, Monkey spots him, takes him down, they lose 2 because of it, and now they're 2 players hiding in the shack, which is not really going to give them anything. It's just, it's one of those things, I'm not trying to BM anyone or anything, I'm just trying to make you guys think, because if that's one of the ways that I enjoy watching PUBG, is to not just, I mean, sometimes it can be fun to just lean back and be entertained by what goes on, but I always think it's fun, I always think it's fun to watch a PUBG game where you sit and you say, oh, okay, that made sense, but they could have also done this and that. Like, it's fun to try and analyze while the game is going on, because then sometimes you go, huh, okay, I normally see Exalt do this type of play, maybe they'll do it again, and then when they do that, you can go, haha, now I know how this team plays, and then if you're a player who likes to compete, it's pretty smart to know, oh, this circle shifted here, we know that that team is over there, they normally do this. That helps you out a lot. And also just as a viewer, I think it's fun. It's a fun way to watch PUBG when you know what teams like to do, because then you can try and sit and predict what's going to happen. What program do I use? Program. So let's see. Navi, push underneath. Had to go into Adepts. Adepts try to hold off. Works out pretty well. They have sent Furix across the road. They get to hold off. Noki goes down from Ends on the other side. Again, now they're just outside. How does Entropy do anything from here? These guys are gonna chill the fuck out. Just let everyone else fight. Flammy crosses over, tries to push up. 1 goes down. Trico finds 1 in return. South side fight escalates. That's just a swamp fight. Not too much I can analyze. And Trico goes down. And they go out in 8th place. So they get 1 placement point off of that. So it's a 2-point game for them. I think when you're in this situation, dude, sitting here, there are ways that you could have got more than 2 points out of that game. Like, it's just, I mean, this could have been any team. This could have been any team. We're all sitting here trying to analyze together, right? But I think they could have gotten more out of it. Ents plays this one really well. They're just playing the waiting game. They're going, huh, okay, I guess if they didn't want to fight that, then we can just go and play our game. Now they can push around, like grab around on the south side. Smart games. Ratio Edge should have less 1 on a lockdown. Shong's gonna sneaky peeky make his way forward. Then he's gonna die. Liquid, again, making it to late game. Impressive, keeping 4 alive. Smart rotations all the way through. They read the 2-way split down on the yellow compound earlier. Make a smart play on it as well. I mean, this compound, like, the game is literally gonna end in the compound. There's no way Ratio Edge doesn't win this. 3 alive, 3v2. Teams playing the outside, push together. Wham. GG. How many kills do they get off of that? Not that many, I would think. Oh, they do. Oh, okay, so Gaxley gets 6 kills. How many of those kills actually came from people shooting at them? I'm not sure. Okay, I guess a few of them in the end there, but it was primarily them getting to third party, which is what this compound is amazing for. So good game. 10 kill win for Ratio Edge. Second to last game. Let's hop on over to the final game of yesterday. Rips. Game number 6. Let me just take a sip of water. Yeah, he played it smart. Pushing out. Again, that's what we were talking about before. Could Ents try and breach? They could have. I don't know if they pushed with vehicles when they pushed across, though. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Lost played it really well. They played it really well and gonna go, and that's why we keep why I keep talking about when you see a team that plays a compound and they just stay. Kind of like yesterday, was it? I think it was Exalt in the graveyard finish on Miramar. When they all four stayed in the building for that long and they allowed for inside games and the other teams to kind of wrap around. Had Lost been in there, they would just have been, like, whenever they would have had to leave the compound, Liquid would have just been sitting outside in the ridgeline going, well, you guys can come to us. So, yeah, agree. It's a smart play. Smart play. Let's see. Final game. Everyone's been talking about how interesting the circles were. Plane is pretty straightforward. Straightforward planes normally gives us crazy circles. This one, not so crazy. How many times have we seen this circle? Like, how many times has this happened in this tournament so far? That's actually insane. Tap goes down. Ooh, they double loot this. I like that. A little pressure saying, YMCA, don't come here. Don't come here. And then they go back. Take the car, get the hell away, get looted up. Liquid rotates out early. Where are they? Are they just going to go forest again? So they don't want to go melee side. They are rotating somewhat early. Not as early as they've done like on clear military games. Did they get shot at? They might have been shot at. Okay. I would have thought they would have pushed underneath and played here. But maybe it's because they know that Tornado pushed out early in their loot. Maybe they see Kemper Drive? I don't know, but they wrap around that way. Makes good sense. Liquid playing it safe on that side. Northern Lights again going melee side. Okay. Wrapping over that way once more. This time around, they're sticking around though. That's a smart play. Not committing to this side, but they're going, okay, now we can rotate back if we have to, and we can rotate in if we have to. This is a smart play. Not hard committing to go inside. They've learned from game number 1. Smart guys. Last team, Phantom and Adepts come in from the northern side. Tornado Energy has a good split. Elkick and the Na'Vi. Does Elkick read this split from above? They're sitting way up on Pachinki Hill, and they read the split with people on the hillside and go, well, contested. Is any team gonna third party that now? No. Next circle. Oh no! Oh no! What the fuck is this? Well, you know it could go military. In all fairness, you know it could have gone military. But military with like 75% water, we always say that the dot has to be on land, right? Try, like, where's the center? Like there somewhere. It could have been worse. Center could have been down there. You shouldn't, I mean, to be fair, you shouldn't be too shocked. Because there is still, when you look at this shift, just before it happens, right? There is still a good chunk of military in that it can still go to. Like, it could literally go here and then go military. Yes, there's more land mass up here, which is what the majority of people have expected it to go towards. But there is still enough military in that you should always have a, but guys, it can go military. Like, no one is sitting in their compound going, nah, we know, it's not gonna go melee. No way, no way. Everyone has already made a plan for what do we do if this goes military. They must have. Like, they must have made a plan already to say there's still a chance. There is still a chance that it goes military. Having said that, military with this much water is probably not something they would have expected. So let's see what people opt to do. I'm gonna say 4 teams here. Wait, we have 1, 2 over. That's 12 teams. 4 teams here. We're gonna see 2 teams here. We're gonna see 3 teams take boats there. 2 compete for Prim. And 1 there, 1 there. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, 13. 2 here as well. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 1. 1 went around. No, they didn't go. Oh, there was 3 there. There's team number 4. There's 1 there. Your Adepts team went there instead. WGG went around. Ents went around. Holy fuck, this almost added up. I was one team off. That's pretty impressive. This should have been 3, 2, 1, 1, 1 instead, and 4. I was one team off. I was pretty close, not gonna lie. Is Ratio Edge swimming? I think Ratio Edge is swimming. That's a committed swim. Oh, their boat explodes? Oh, okay, so they go into the boat and it explodes, they all go out and they start swimming. Makes sense. Leroy Jenkins style on the east side to be expected. Northern Lights like, well, we can get some kills here. Easy peasy. They'll stick around. Iro explodes the boat just to mess with ends. He's gonna take his car, drive back. Everyone's gonna drown to... Did Adepts start swimming and then realize they couldn't? They start swimming. And then they go back again. Why? Did they think they had more time? Maybe they were expecting the circle to include more water so they could swim like into the circle and keep swimming. I don't think they've seen Ratio Edge at this point. No, there's no way. When they're in the water and they're in the water as well, there's no way they see them. I think the main thing is that they were expecting this shift to include more water because you can see how fast it starts closing in, right? They're barely even inside the circle. Like, they've already tanked a lot of blue. It's early, yes. But had this circle had like this instead, whatever, I cannot draw a circle, you know what I mean? Then they could have swum in here and then they could have started swimming in before the blue started moving. Here, I think they're just expecting to die in the water, which probably would happen too. So they go back, take cars, try and rev over. This becomes a clown fiesta. Again, we can't really do a whole lot of fight analysis, but to be expected that teams will try and contain the bridges. YMCA like, we'll just chill, get 2 kills and win the game. Northern Lights, wrap underneath. You see, it paid off for them to rotate under. Smart play. WSG are running across the bridge. Yep, there comes Adepts. They get taken down. Last 2 Adepts players, they have to cross the bridge. Well, it's not even going to happen. They're going to down to blue. Open. Hillside you can play. Iro's by himself. Is he just going to go down to the blue? He's shooting at stuff. Now he's going to drive. Is he going to die? Please tell me Iro gets killed. No. Makes it over. Northern Lights are going to chill on the south side. Makes good sense. Jupesik made it across as well. Impressive. Is Iro going to get the shack? That could be a fun thing. Or he's just going to prone on the rock, I guess. The solo making his way around. All of Navi pushing out. We're still... Think of how much these teams have been through in order to get to where they are now. And we're still not in placement points yet. That's insane. They have to take... Whoops, they have to take the fight. I like this 2-man push out from Ilkigant. That is a nice play. Good read. They know for a fact that they have enough space that no one is going to come pushing in this way. And they know we cannot push out if there's a team sitting above us, because then we'll just get third-partied from below. So we need to clear this before we can push anywhere else. So they sent Norgis and Marceleg up. They already see that there are knocks in the kill feed to try and clear out. I think that's a smart play. They can always just back down. Exactly. They can always just push down and try and contain. And now the remaining Ilkigenten players can come out and help too. That is a really smart read. Smart read by Ilkigenten in that situation. I like that. If they clear out Kempa as well, there you go. Now they know for a fact that they have this entire thing to play from. Pretty more of it, actually. They have this entire thing to play from. Good read by Ilkig. Now they can try and contain in the compound. They do stuff Iro, though. Sneaky Iro. Being sneaky. Ratio Edge and YMCA fighting on the hilltop. Again, fighting analysis. Can't do too much of it. Ilkig gets the circle. Oh, Iro, you damn sneaky snake. And they go down to the timing. Marcelik goes down. They go, wait, there's a guy over there. And Morpheus finds one, goes down in return, and all of a sudden they're down to just 2. That's unfortunate. Who comes out on top here? I have no idea. I have no idea who. It's a 4-way duo. 2v, 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 2. Huh. There's not really an easy area to fight around either. Circle down towards Unique. You might think they can just chill and wait for everyone to fight their way out. We'll see. There are some good shooters in this end game as well, so you never know. Norky's down. Ghost Star needs to chill the fuck out. Final circle. There's probably like 19 billion smokes as well. Colta goes down. Gaxi tries to push forward. Ghost Star is literally on top of him. Kill stolen. So now it's a 1v1v1v1. This is pretty interesting. Because 2 players are knocked, it's literally 4 solos against each other. If you get killed now with 4 alive and you get 4th place, you're gonna leave a little tilted. Elgig out. He gets the res. Impressive. But then he goes down. 1 more down. Ooh, he got the knock first though on Sikora, so sample like Axie 1v1. Ooh, goes down. So YMCA, the team that got to chill for the better part of the entire game on the hillside, wins the game. That does make sense, I guess, in the end of it. And where did they loot? They were the Prim team. They just go, well, we were the ones that looted Primorsk. We know the boats are still there. Makes perfect sense. That was the final game. That was the final game of day number 2. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the